Remember the first time you loaded up Worms Armageddon back in '99? Those cheeky little pixel worms popping up on a hand-drawn hillside, the voices shouting things like,
"Yes, sir!"
or
"Reinforcements!"
as a holy hand grenade sails across the screen. Man, it hits different even now. That game wasn't just another sequel, it felt like the moment the whole series clicked into something timeless, something that still pulls us back in when we fire up the anniversary edition or dust off an old copy with the guys. But to really get why Armageddon stands apart and why we miss it so much, we have to rewind to the very beginning of the Worms themselves. It all started with a kid named Andy Davidson tinkering away in his bedroom on an Amiga in the early 90s. He was dodging A-level math homework and messing around with a turn-based artillery game inspired by those old classics like Scorched Earth. At first he called it Lem Artillery and filled it with little lemmings sprites, just a laugh for him and his schoolmates during lunch breaks. But he knew he could never release someone else's characters, so he swapped them out for these squirmy, indestructible worms. Renamed the whole thing Total Wormage, and suddenly it felt right. Pure chaos on a 2D battlefield, worms blasting each other with bazookas and dynamite while the landscape crumbled in wonderful pixelated glory. He took it to the European Computer Trade Show in '94 as a hobby project, and Team 17 spotted it at their booth. They saw the spark, signed him up, polished it into the first Worms in '95, and just like that, a bedroom experiment became a phenomenon that sold millions. Worms 2 came along in '97 and made everything prettier, better graphics, more weapons, smoother rope swings, but it still left people wanting. The single player was thin, the AI was a bit daft, and it didn't quite capture that full-on party vibe everyone craved. Then Armageddon dropped in '99. Originally planned as nothing more than an expansion pack called Wormageddon. And thank God they made it a full standalone game, because this is where the formula hit perfection. It kept the heart of Worms 2, the same tight turn-based artillery core, but poured in everything the fans had been begging for. Suddenly, there were proper single-player missions, 33 of them, that actually taught you the ropes and ramped up the challenge without feeling like filler. The AI got smarter, the physics felt weightier and more predictable in the best way, and the customization exploded. You could build your own teams with custom flags and graves and victory fanfare and voices that made every death feel personal.
Totally brilliant pants! Monday! Ugh, I'm dead. That's pure magic, by the way. Come on, you waste of time. You mammy's boy. I'm gonna hammer you. Great prezzies. A wee dancer. Killed them. Fire! Play with this. The first blood of war. That was easy.
Weapon schemes became endless playgrounds. You could tweak damage, delay, even turn the sheep launcher into an absolute menace, or dial the airstrikes back to classic. More maps, more themes, utilities that changed how you played entirely. A proper training mode, and WormNet for online matches that let you jump into games with strangers across the world on dial-up. It wasn't just more content, it was the version that felt complete. The one that refined every little thing people loved from the first two games without losing that daft, destructive charm. That's what made Worms Armageddon different from everything else in the series. The one before it laid the groundwork, sure, but they were rough around the edges. The ones after, World Party was close, but a bit lighter on the extras, and then the 3D shift in the 2000s changed the feel entirely. Trading that perfect 2D pixel precision for something flashier that never quite landed the same. Armageddon nails the sweet spot. Strategy that rewarded clever rope tricks and grenade lobs, mixed with pure slapstick when it all went wrong. And here's the thing. It still feels just as fresh today. Fire it up now and the controls snap right back into your fingers. That rope swing still has this perfect arc and momentum that later games never quite matched. The community keeps it alive with patches and mods, custom schemes that turn every match into something new, and online lobbies where you can still find players shouting over voice chat like it's 2001 all over again. way a worm can backflip off a cliff and land in water, or a concrete donkey flattens half the map while everyone cheers. It's chaotic, it's tactical, it's hilarious, and it never gets old because every game is different depending on who you're playing with and what ridiculous scheme you cooked up. But more than anything, what we miss, and I mean really miss, is how these kinds of games used to bring us together. Back then, gaming wasn't locked away in headphones and solo queues. You'd cram 4 buddies around one PC for hot seat, passing the controller while the room filled with laughter and groans every time someone nuked their own team or teleported straight into the drink. LAN parties in someone's basement, cables everywhere, pizza boxes stacked high, and the whole night revolving around one match after another until the sun came up. No battle passes, no microtransactions, just pure shared joy. You'd strategize out loud, betray your best friend with a perfectly timed sheep, and replay the replay over and over just to relive the glory. Worms Armageddon was made for that. It was never about grinding alone, it was about the stories you told later. The time Dave's worm survived a fall only to get crushed by an elephant. Or the night the whole group stayed up until 3 a.m. because one more game turned into 20. Those nights feel so far away now. Everything's online and polished and endless, somehow less connected. We miss the simplicity and the way a silly little game about worms could turn strangers into friends and friends into legends around a single screen. Armageddon reminds us of that golden era every time we play it, and that's why it still feels special. It wasn't just a game. It was the soundtrack to friendships forged in pixelated explosions and shared belly laughs. And honestly, in a world that sometimes feels too serious, we could all use a bit more of that wormy magic. So grab your buddies, boot it up, and let the chaos bring you right back home. Because some things never die. They just wait for you to fire up the old scheme editor and remember why we fell in love in the first place.
Uy, Prime Minister tawa. Oh!